I said I'm ready.
Okay. Okay. Hey everyone, my name is ZeBirdBrain, and today we are talking about Winterfest because Winterfest is cool, and we're gonna talk about time charts, and we have guests, and it's Christmas. Actually, it's not Christmas; it's in September. I just cannot chill.
And today I have the honor to have a very good friend with me. It's Kevin, and Kevin is here to talk to us about the lovely subject of time charts, because time charts is fucking amazing.
The time charts is fucking amazing.
Actually, its time charts are freaking amazing, but I cannot English today, so bear with me. So how are you today, mister?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here today. I have a very important question to start this lovely video. What is your favorite holiday dish, holiday tradition, and or song? What do you like to do when it's not September?
My family every year celebrates, or at least used to. Maybe not recently, we haven't because of COVID. But we used to celebrate Christmas as following the traditions of a different country every year.
That is so cool. I've never thought about that.
It was a very cool and wild time. And we had learned a lot about regional histories and how different cultures celebrate the holiday season. We would cook their food, we would do their traditions, we would whatever they did, we did as well.
That is so cool. I've never thought about that. Did you have a favorite one?
I liked Scotland because it was the first time I tried haggis, and that was a wild experience.
I mean, I laugh, but whenever I travel, trying the food of everywhere is always my favorite thing. So
yeah,
I feel you.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, Australia was very cool as well because it's summer for them during Christmas. So we had basically a grill out in the middle of winter, and I ate kangaroo. It was great.
Yeah, I've had kangaroo before. It was good. I've actually had it for Christmas. What? We had because we always do Chinese fondue at my parents' place, and they just bought kangaroo because it was there.
Amazing. Did you like it?
I don't remember specifically hating it, so I guess it was just good. Yeah. It was great. And can you share one amazing positive event that occurred this year?
Amazing
it
positive.
It can be anything, just something fun.
Something fun. Oh, I had taken a vacation for the first time in a while, and that time was spent meeting friends that I made over Discord online. So I have physical proof that Porky exists, whom I think you'll be interviewing, won't you? Or did?
I will.
So I met him and Greg, whom you also are interviewing.
One day I'm gonna meet everyone too.
One day.
Cool, that's cool. Thank you for sharing. So now everybody's happy. We can start talking about the actual subject.
Yes.
Actually, no. I need to poke your brain even more.
Oh yeah. All right. Let's do it.
There's one thing we didn't talk about. Who are you and what do you do?
Oh. Oh, me? I'm nobody. I am Kevin. K7VIN on Twitter and the internets. I am a frame by frame 2D animator.
Woo!
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty well.
I doodle a lot, all day.
So you've been doodling for a while, and did the industry change a lot since you started and now? In terms of the project you've been doing and software you've been using? We've all grown on Flash, but I guess we just did something else after. And
Yeah. I guess in a small way, I started my animation career while I was still in school. I had participated in. This may remind a lot of people or give people flashbacks, but Albino Black Sheep had done a tournament of Flash artists that I had participated in way after kind of the heyday of kind of Flash cartoon media type stuff. But I had won that tournament, and that was my first here's your money for your animation kind of thing.
Oh, there was prize money. That's so cool. I thought that
Yeah.
tournament was was really more about like people just wanting to create and stuff. I didn't know it was actually a prize. That's really cool. Really interesting.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. And I would say, yeah, industry has changed in a big way. When I was in school, kind of getting out, like everything was, it seemed like if you wanted a job, you had to get into 3D. Because right before I got out of school, Disney fired their entire 2D program.
Yeah, that was a grim day.
Yeah, they thought like 2D was dead. It turns out when you take some of the best artists in the world and release them into the world, they start their own studios and keep doing the drawing thing.
Yes.
And like almost because of that, I think there's been kind of a resurgence of 2D.
2D is not dead.
It's really popular these days. I guess that's the way it changed.
Yeah, that's a very interesting way. Very important question. What is your favorite part of animating, and why is it car smears?
It's well, you got it on the hit the nail on the head. It is car smears after all. I think what is my favorite part of animating? Probably it's like feeling the characters out is probably my favorite part. Like sitting down, like it's like the most intimidating part of animating, right? Or like doing character animation specifically. I really, really like animating emotional kind of heavy scenes.
Oh.
Not that action isn't great. That's fun. It all has its place. But like being able to like sit down and like try and put real emotion into just like a couple of drawings. It's like not even drawings. It's just like I'm arranging pixels on a screen and I need these to like make people feel things. And kind of that challenge is my favorite part. I really like that.
Yeah, that's really fun. It's like when I teach, I tell my students that you have to consider it like translating, because what the character is feeling like in your head, like how does that translate like on your paper? But you can't just like draw it. You have to kind of like interiorize it. And I think you just put it into very nice word that I was not able to kind of describe to my students sometimes. So like you have to like feel it first before you barf it out on the paper or whatever.
I actually really like that. I'm going to start quoting you as feel it before you barf. And that's true. That's real. Like, do so.
Barf the doodles.
It does feel like a lot of the times when drawing, and maybe this will bring someone some comfort, but like as a professional, sometimes it does feel like barfing on the page and hoping things are starting to look right.
I do know that when I struggle with something, at one point I just stop thinking in terms of like theory and all I know, and I just go back to, when you were 8 and you were drawing, it worked. So like go back to being 8 and just draw. You can just fix it after.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
God. Is there a specific way that you hold your stylus when you draw? And I know it's a stupid question, but I've had so many discussions with people lately, and I do think it affects the way you draw, like how you hold it. But like, I don't know, how do you feel about that? Like, did you ever notice something different?
I am super glad you actually brought this up, because this is a possibly a good learning moment for your students. I used to like really, really grip the pen. I used to like strangle it practically while drawing. And I started having like tension stress in my my first and second pulleys in my finger. If anyone's a rock climber, those are the things that you'll strain if you use a crimp hold. Again, this doesn't really mean anything. Basically, it hurt to pinch things and hold things. And I ended up taking like 2 months or so, maybe 3. Of taping my finger every day to kind of brace it and teach myself how to hold the pen like almost as light as possible. These days, if I like, these days it's very likely like if a stiff breeze blows through my window, it will knock the pen out of my hand. So,
damn.
The answer to your question is as light as possible.
Even when you clean up, because I know some friends tend to like hold their pencil very light when they sketch and when they animate. But when they clean, I don't know if they get into the mood. Like they press like harder and stuff. So it's so interesting to see all this physics of holding a pencil.
Yeah. In terms of cleaning, I've been very lucky in that I haven't really needed to do much cleaning for work or anything, really. I've been a very, very rough boy. So it lets me kind of stay loose. So I'll have to get back to you next time I clean something.
I mean, as an animator who cleans your stuff sometimes, you're not that rough. You're pretty well-behaved animator. I must say.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so now let's dive into the subject of the fucking time charts.
Yeah. Fucking time chart. Yes.
I say it like that because I used to hate them so much, because when I learned them in school, these are one of the first things we were taught, and I'm glad we were taught them. It's just that, you know, when you start animation, everything is hard. So like, not just time chart, everything. It's just specifically time charts, because they're hard and they're not fun to do at first.
They don't make sense.
They don't make sense, right? They only started to make sense when I was into the industry and I started to work and actually understand animation and know that a jump was like 6 frames or 6 drawings or something. But yeah, so I thought I'd make a little video like that with you so that we can demystify what they are and how they feel and why they're amazing.
Yes.
So yeah, because our teachers tried and they did their best, but I'm like, maybe if we give them another perspective on the matter, it's gonna help more kiddos and grown-ups to use them, because there's so many ways to use them and nobody does the same thing. So thank you for being here and accepting this crazy task of trying to learn about.
Make it all make sense.
Yeah, so it's all yours. What drove you to start using time charts, like using them? And what made you not want to use them in the past? Like, what was the clicking moment?
Clicking moment for me was for my first directorial gig. I used to be an animation director at a studio called Kaleda, and I think they're still active, still doing stuff. And I had a couple of employees where I would rough stuff out, and I would have to put charts in so that they knew how things would go, like how things are supposed to move. And there's actually, you know what? As we're getting started, even the word timing chart kind of freaks people, or at least lately it has, because it's almost like the name is changing. I think we're in the process. There's spacing chart.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And mine, I mean, I've learned animation in French, right? So, I mean, I didn't even call them timing charts. So, like, I just picked up the word. So, if there's a better word, I'll just be very happy for it. And I think spacing chart really makes sense. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write it on the screen.
It doesn't super make sense to call them timing charts anymore, because the way that we work now is like all online. It's all digital. Like the timing is there. It's, you know, where the drawings go. It's more, timing charts are used to describe, well, I guess spacing charts are used to describe how far apart drawings need to be, right?
Yeah.
So the first instance that I had to use them was while working at Kaleda. And I was a little resistant to them at first, because it was like another step in the process, and it like especially early on in my career, I was just trying to like focus more on getting good movement, and try and put all of my effort into like getting as much work out as possible. And nowadays it's more of a balance of making the next job easier, right?
Yep.
Like, as a rough animator, my whole goal is to make everything as clear and concise as possible in my tie down, so that cleanup can just like fly through it. Like I can take the time, I don't mind. Because in general, I feel like rough animation does take more time in the process and has a higher, I guess, a bid in terms of hours while the production's going on. So yeah, I had to learn how to use spacing charts, and I taught my employees how to read them so that they knew how far apart the drawings were going to be, and where, like, for cleanup's sake, is like you want to put your keys down first and then like kind of find your breakdowns from there. And they're used to kind of help to describe the motion, so I don't have to sit there and explain to them like, oh no, this is just a light ease, like it's just like it's almost the exact same drawing kind of thing.
I think for me, one thing that could really help people use timing charts is playing Gartic Phone, because I've been teaching a lot of people what spacing charts are with that game. Because you don't have anything else to communicate, right, except from the little note thing.
Yeah.
Huh, so that
You
could
start
be
it
a
up.
good exercise.
That could be amazing. I know the couple of times I've seen the spacing charts in Gartic Phone always has a mixed reaction.
Yeah, me too. Some people are like, oh, why did you put that here? I'm not royalty. I don't know what it is. I'm like, what? But I just wanted to help. And then people get mad, and then I'm sad.
That's why we're having this conversation right now. Just because you don't know it doesn't mean you have to be afraid of it.
Thank you. It's like the node view.
Yeah, I'm learning about the node view myself, so I'm learning the power.
But yeah, what we don't know often scares us. So, do you have any resources that are great to help learn spacing charts? Or is it more of a try it and you'll eventually get it kind of deal?
Yeah, I guess I had to learn through Toniko.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, he explains it very, very well. Obviously, like spacing charts are in the survival guide, animator survival guide. And that was like kind of first introduction to it. But between that book and Toniko's video, I was able to kind of piece together like exactly how they're supposed to work and teach other people. Aside from that, and unfortunately this is the case, if you are in or looking to do like kind of a frame by frame like gig these days, you will learn in studio, and they will force you to get it very quickly, because if you don't, like you're kind of out. And most every studio ends up making them a little different too. So
yeah, you have to adapt. That's what I've learned as well. I think the first time I worked with it in the industry was by working on Big Hero 6 by Disney, because we still had like exposure sheet with like timing charts in there.
Oh, they had the X sheet still?
Yeah, but we found them like episode 5. But like, we found them one day. We're like, it was there all along and we didn't know. So like, well, maybe not episode 5, maybe like 2 or 3. I don't remember. It's been like years. But like, I found them there, and they had some time charts. But when I worked in Japan, they have other kind of spacing charts and stuff. So yeah, there's so many ways to do them. So that's another key takeaway. Don't assume that what you know is the exact way to do it, and be flexible, kids.
Yeah, it's very much going to be. It will look similar. Mm-hmm. It's like if you sit down in front of a stranger's TV, you'll probably be able to figure out like how to turn it on. That's essentially what following protocol in different studios is like. You know the concepts, you press a button and the thing turns on, kind of thing. But it's like, which button is it? Which remote do you pick up?
And for what part of the pipeline do you enjoy using them the most? I guess in your case it's rough, because that's mostly what you do.
Yeah.
So yeah, but how, like, can you give an example of how you would use them with that drawing or whatever drawing you have or something?
Oh, yeah. Good. Hang on. Let's you know what? Here, we'll do it this way. I'll just do like a swishy ball. Just make it. Oh no, we'll do a snail. I'm gonna draw a snail.
Yes, please. Oh, okay, there it is. I was looking for it.
Yeah, I should have been.
I'm gonna zoom on it.
Clear.
Yeah.
Let's make this snail. Yes, meaty. There we go. Okay, so a good example of like when spacing charts are used. I had worked with the line last year. No, this year, January. And the way that the production went that I had worked on, is we sat down, the rough animators did, we drew everything out, tied everything down just as clean as we possibly could. We then had a cleanup artist come in, a single cleanup artist, I think, which is not as scary as you think, because all they did was clean up 1 or 2 frames in every shot.
Okay.
And those cleanup frames were used as reference to the studio that we sent all of our work to.
That is very similar to what I see in Japan.
Yeah. We're I think we ended up doing something similar at, well, maybe not. I was gonna say like something similar is happening at Flying Bark, but they do all cleanup in house.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, the spacing charts specifically are very, very good for rough to cleanup, because that's pretty much where you need it to like understand like how and where the motion is going. I guess the way like anime would work is like you put down your key drawings, right, and then put your spacing charts, and then someone comes in and like fills them out, but also does cleanup at the same time. So yeah, that's kind of that's where the use comes in, right? This is where the car smear goes in. Just a little secondary learning happening right here.
I was about to ask later how you would, if you would like to share some knowledge of the car smears, but
oh, absolutely,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
So obviously, yeah, that first drawing. And let's say here, you know what? So this is how we'll do this. Oh, wait.
Oh, it was more far away than I thought. Let me just move my little fingers.
Here, I'm gonna do this. Let's make this as clean and easy to read as possible. Yeah. So we're gonna have this is our breakdown. Is the car smear. The breakdown being the very middle drawing of the animation, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Of course, it's the car smear.
Yeah. So here's our car smear. Is the breakdown or the in between, right? So. We'll do key and key, right?
Yep.
And let's say we oh, here, this will be a bit of fun. I'm gonna need, let's do blue. We're gonna ease into the emotion a little bit. He'll lead with his eyes and head, right? This might be a little hard to read, so I hope this translates well.
I mean, we're doing our best. It's not an animation software, but you know, it'll do the trick. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And then this will be he'll do one like settle frame where everything kind of screeches to a stop, right? And his eyes like fling way forward.
Yep.
And he has to adjust it back. We'll add some follow through. Okay. Hopefully this isn't just straight ass to look at.
And with the colors, I think it will really help to put it into the thingo.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping. Okay.
That works.
So here we have our frames here, right? I should have put this all on different layers so we could actually animate it out. That would be fun.
Oh well.
Here we are.
Next time.
So these would all be on their own frame, right? And once the animation is done, to help translate it to whoever I'm handing this off to next, I would make a spacing chart. And so I would start with, on frame 1, we have the first snail, right? And then on frame, let's make it 24 frame. Just a whole, like a 1 second like scoop. 24 would be our other key drawing, which is where he ends. So what I would do is then go into the spacing chart.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard to like convert. And I would mark where my breakdown frame is. And I'd mark it with like a BD, or like some people will just write the number, right? Or there's been studios I go to that like you write down when would he scoot? Say he scoots on, at 7. Why not?
Sometimes I've seen letters because when I worked in smaller gigs, people were sometimes less sure of the timing. They would just say like, this is A, B, C, and D, and they would just like write A, B, C, D. And
Yeah. Or like, you'll get the or people will do like a 1A and like the 2A. Like A's are just the keys, right?
Oh, I've never seen. No, that makes sense. I like that. I really like that.
Because then, like, if it's a longer shot and you want like, well, okay, yeah. Here's the extreme example is like you'll get a shot, and I've very unfortunately had to send this off to a couple of people before. Is like put multiple keys in the chart itself, and you have to read everything in between it.
Oh boy, that's next level.
I think I sent you one, Z, so I apologize for that.
I do remember seeing it now that you mentioned. I was like, where did I see that before? Yes, it was in the Doge Swift thingo.
Yeah.
But it made sense, so I mean, I got it, so.
Right. So no worries. Regardless, when making the chart, you would indicate your key doodles, and then whatever your breakdown is. Like sometimes people just underline it. Keys are circled. This is the part that varies from place to place, right?
Yep.
So from this point, you would say, all right, well, he starts moving on 5, right? So we'll have a 4-frame sit still before he starts moving. He'll zip on 7, on 6. Oh, here, I should do it. There we go. On 5, on 6, he's halfway there. And then on... Oh, wait, that was wrong. That's 8. I need that on 8. Silly Billy.
Silly Billy.
Yeah, so 7, he's halfway there. 8, almost to the key pose. And then on 9, he overshoots, right? I would actually adjust that to there. Then this would probably on... Let's hold 9 for like 6 frames. So on 15, start scooting back. And you know what? We're going to actually be smart about this. This will probably be a... maybe an 18. Okay, so this is essentially like slowly describing what the is, right?
I can see it.
Yeah, the parts that's going to start like freaking people out is when these come in, right?
Yes, thank you. I was waiting for them. Like, where are we gonna add them?
Yeah. So these arcs are used to describe where the space is, right? So here's 1, right? And here's an 18. These are our key drawing. The breakdown, number 7, is halfway in between those 2 drawings, like physically in space. And so you put this right here.
Yep.
Right? I've actually incorrectly marked this first frame right here. This 5.
Yeah, it's supposed to be nearer, right?
Yeah. To really describe this, your
guess
5.
We're all tired.
Yeah, it would be up here because it's much, much closer and favors your first key.
Yep.
So 7 being right in between. This is pretty close to right in between. In this case, I would mark this as frame 8 being halfway in between 7 and 18. Right?
Yeah. Because I think something that people don't get sometimes when they see this, they get super confused because they're like, oh, there's so many like of these numbers, but like just consider that if they're close like that, it's basically like it's an well, I mean, oh yeah, your drawings are so helpful. Like that's why it's so near. It's like it's not an anticipation. It's not overshoot. It's another word that I just can't quite get at the moment. But, like,
It's an ease.
Ease. Thank you so much. So yeah, the ease in and ease out of your character. So,
which for some drawings like this at some studios, while this is an in-between drawing and you could mark it as such,
mm-hmm.
you know, for the sake of argument, this would be our breakdown.
When I was
so
mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go you first.
Okay. Being dead center, you mark the breakdown, and currently at Flying Bark, they also like to mark their extremes. So like if you go past like where the key drawing is, but it's like not different enough to be its own key drawing, you would mark that. And then the final step in this chart specifically would be 15. Like drawing 15 is spaced halfway in between 9 and 18. So this would be the spacing chart for our little snail.
To cut it short, you have your positions of your drawing here. It's like their position in time. And on the side, like these little butts. Because I've had students that just to get the grade, you know, they would put the time charts in and be like, this is my time chart. I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
It's like, all right, well, that's a harsh start and a really, really slow ease out.
So basically, yeah, just remember that the little butts, they usually mark the.
They are halfway point.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Middle ground, of your two poses.
Yeah.
Halfway.
A lot of animators really like putting things halfway because it's a little easier to think about. I'm one of the bastards that use a lot of eases, so I have a lot of this in my timing charts, spacing charts.
I don't think it's that much of a bastard move, because when I was doing because TV animations and a feature film animation is different. But in TV animation, a lot of the time, because, you know, codas, this in between sometimes would be one, but we would take like a warp tool or like we would just like skew it a little bit, and it's crazy how much you can get away with it for limited animation. It's just like that little frame here is gonna bring up your whole animation. Like it seems small, but it's actually like a pretty big deal. So.
Yeah, you can get away with a lot with stuff like that. A great example is any student who's watching now who wants a good example is Gumball, The Amazing World of Gumball.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Every one of their spacing charts, look like this, and it's like. Yeah, so
my friend told me the same thing about Gumball. That's when we work on Big Hero 6. Was like, time charts are easy on Gumball. That's how they look like.
Yeah, like that's it. or sorry, here let's be here. It'd be like 1, 2, no, like 1, 6, 7, 9. Like it's nuts. It's nuts how much you can get away with. Just like. That massive snappiness.
Yeah, but it works, so...
Oh, yeah. It works great. It all depends on, like... And, yeah, these little, like, weird charts will help explain all types of movement that you can think of. And that's exactly what you need it for, right? Is, like, when you hand it off to the next person, they need to know what's going on. You give them one of these.
Yeah. Totally. And with time, you get really good at, like you said, splicing things into half. So like if you're doing like a time chart for something, like you get really good at finding the halfway point of stuff.
Yeah, you do.
Because the students, they're just gonna put things at random. Like, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, it's a skill. It's fun. Try.
Yeah. There's funny enough, in a lot of places I'm working at, like students are coming out of school, and they figured it out. They figured out the whole like putting things halfway, right? And like the problem is that like all of their charts start looking like this.
Like
Right?
what? Like what? The thing I drew?
Sorry. Look right beneath your doodles.
Oh my god! Surprise!
So,
Alright.
and this is kind of like the like I think this specific chart. What I just drew right now is in like the Richard Williams book Survival Guide,
think
and
it
everyone, yeah, as soon as they figure out like, oh, if I just put everything on halves in the motion, it'll be super smooth. But it's like,
not all the
it's-
time.
yeah, it's like I kind of like you kind of get it, but it's also like this is a very every motion has its place, but this can get very, very boring if this is all you're doing.
This is
right?
like if you're doing, because now we're talking about hand drawn, but trust me, timing charts are not just used for hand drawn people watching this. Time charts are also very useful for cutout, and this one is exactly if you were doing cutout animation and you always used your motion keys and you set them to like 50%, right? You need variance when you do this, or like even in Harmony, there's like this drop down that I love for camera movement, but like there's a drop down with like many different curves.
Yes.
But
oh my
like,
god, I just found out about these.
It's
Harmony
amazing,
myself.
right? I love it so much. But it's like if you use always the same curve. I mean, yes, it's gonna work, but you know, it's gonna be.
It'll
boring.
look. Yeah. Unfortunately, like as with any like kind of medium, right? It's like having variety and just a variety of movements is what's going to keep people attention. It'll be more entertaining as well. Like, okay, for like this baseball man
Where
that
I got
drew.
there.
Sorry, right under Winterfest. Like when you're if he were to swing his bat at this like kind of spacing, it would the swing is too slow because like
Yeah.
this would be the next position for the bat.
Dude,
right?
the bat like that, you could like super smash it. Like when
Yeah.
it's like here and then it's just like here.
Yeah, like if these were the drawings for the bat swing, it would look so slow, and it wouldn't feel right. It wouldn't pop. It wouldn't like. It would be a bad.
Okay,
animation.
I saw you drew these and I was like, wait, is he gonna say that's right? I'm like, was I wrong my whole life? Because that's not how I
No.
would have done it. And I was like, oh no.
But yeah, like you would want to like for like
Pow.
a major league swing, you would like probably ease into it a little bit, right? You'd have this let the smear do the work for you, right?
And then
and then
just
Yeah, he'd probably finish
cushion it there.
up here with like 14 drawings or so.
Yes.
And
And
add,
here
like-
you put like a little like shling, and then everything goes dark and it's
Impact
Ow.
frames.
I made an impact frame in Gartic last week, and I wrote, "This is an impact frame. Like after that, go to this motion," and I drew something. It was like a gunshot, but no, that person didn't read the note. I think, and it just turns into like a very slow explosion. I love that game so much.
It's so funny.
Oh my god, Gartic. Oh my god, thank you so much. This is so useful. Like that
Yeah.
part right here, I think this is golden. People are
Absolutely.
super happy. We finally put it on paper, well, on canvas or something.
We arranged the pixels.
I do have one last thing to say about time charts, though. Sometimes, because now we've been talking about them for very, dare I say, easy stuff. Like it's very straightforward for like the bat movement, for the car smears, super snail. It's kind of easy, and it would be very great exercises if you're trying to start people. But sometimes you're gonna have like a movement, and one thing that we do need to clarify is you can have many time charts for the same animation.
Yeah.
Like it's not one time chart for everything. Maybe the bat has a time chart, but maybe the foot has a different one, and maybe that car starts to have a life of his own and just goes, and there's a time chart for that car as well. So how
Yeah.
do you deal with multiple time charts?
That's a great question. Yeah, you will have, especially now with like kind of digital animation, right? It's like people will just put things on layers. So, yeah, you know what? Let's look at Baseball Man. Kind of these days, people would like probably put like the torso on one layer, right? Maybe legs as well, just because like everything is moving from that, and would have arms on another layer, right?
Yep.
So like you would animate the torso through, the head would probably be on its own layer as well. And we very easily have the power now to animate things one at a time. And it's a much easier way to kind of keep track of things, right?
Yeah, and if you want
Like, I
to
need to-
retime some stuff, you can just... I think Zoro does that a lot.
Yes. Yeah, he's a madman. He puts his faces all on a different layer. It's also because he's working. That's like his method of working as well.
Mhm.
And just like, and making his job simpler as well. Like if the chest of this baseball man like finishes the motion before the arms do, which it will, you like, then you only have to draw it once. You don't have to draw it for every single frame. So to answer your question, yeah, for like more complex motions where there's like a follow through or drag, let's say someone's bending over a table, they're grabbing a cup of tea and a saucer, right?
Wait, where are you now? There you are.
to the right. I was just gonna play a little guessing game with Z. Little I Spy.
I spy with my little eye. This thing.
So let's say. Oh, here, I'll make it another drawing. And then they stand up, right?
Your old
but to
time
keep
chart
the-
just looks like a big hat.
right. But to keep the let's keep the motion varied. Get some like follow through. He like pulls teacup a little too high and like some tea splashes out, and then we get a little settle, right? This isn't too hard to see, right? Here, you know what? We're gonna do one more
There's
double
even a
settle.
pretty arc. Yay.
Yeah, look at that. Wow, this is a nightmare. this looks like one of those rainbow colored pencils that just has like every color in the
I love
in the
those
center.
pencil to do like.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes,
then.
I have like I always have one in my pencil case to do life drawing whenever I want.
Amazing. All right, and then we'll.
I've seen on I think on Russ's Gartic channel there's an artist who made a brush like that for CSP, and I have to try it.
Oh, that's
It looks
amazing.
a lot like the same thing you would get on that paper, and it's basically like a gradient mapped inside the colors. It's so great, like with the pressure and stuff. I have to try it.
We'll have to figure out who did it as well, so you can credit them properly.
Oh
And
yeah,
then,
totally. I'm gonna
Everyone
put it
else
on,
can grab it too.
I'm gonna put it on the video.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so looking at this nightmarish colored mess, for a motion like this, where you could make like two separate timing charts, right? Where like it wouldn't make a lot of sense, but you would have like one chart for what color should I do? Let's do like a. No, we'll do. I'll do red. I have to increase opacity on brush. So like we could take this key, right?
Yep.
And say that like this red is like another key. And then the final key is settled to this position, right?
It's even
But then
worse.
over the course of the 20 drawings that you would do here, like you would essentially have like all right, one chart would be like 10, and then like 1 to 10, and then like the next chart after it would be 1 to 20. But if you want to like kind of keep things a bit more condensed, you could just make a timing chart for the body. So the body probably stops moving, like 1 to 10. Maybe to 6, right? So you have the halfway at 2, and then a hard settle at 4. And this wouldn't get you. You wouldn't draw a butt for 4, because 4 is like an ease. Breakdown. Okay, so you'd have one chart for the body, and then the hands would be its own chart. And this one would probably be a bit more complex. I'd probably hit this with the whole like, it would have the hands hit a bit later. They would drag at 2, at 4, at 6 would be the halfway. You'd hit at 8, and then I would go ahead and like do this, right? Actually, I would probably do that. So like this being drawing 8 at the top here, it now has to bounce down and then settle back up. So at 8, it would probably, you know what? I would probably do this chart for that, right above the T-man. I'd probably do like a. Oh, that's not true. That's not true at all.
I'm lost.
I'm so sorry.
Wait, is it getting up or is it going down on the table?
He is.
Thank you. Now I get it. I wasn't sure. I was afraid to ask. I didn't want to cut you.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Well, show that arrows are also important, children.
Yeah. They're good for you. Let's put this at 18. Well, so 10 frames. Ease into the lower and bounce back up. So this would probably be about 12. Oh, here, yeah, we would do it this way.
We're being very, very, very accurate for a very what is the word? Potential thing. Like it's not even a real animation, and we're like, oh yeah, it has to be make sense and stuff. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you could potentially, and this was especially more prevalent back when people were still using pencil and paper, is that all the charts would be on a single page, and that would be the first like key drawing.
Oh
right?
My god, yeah, I remember. Oh my god, yes.
Yes, and
that's something that's changed so much.
Yeah, that's always really intimidating too.
I remember having these drawing exactly. Yeah, we would need to put all the charts on there and then just give it. Oh my god.
Just like hope for the best.
And with like so many cut erase pencils and damn. Wow, I forgot about those. I hated those pages.
He's just got like some flashbacks to a wretched time, just nightmares. But yeah, for a motion like this, where like the head and body settle first, kind of lock into place, you would have, and you would indicate it just as you did, where you'd write body, and then over here we would write hands. These days, actually, just yesterday I had to make a chart, and I feel really bad about it. Where, like, just for the sake of argument, this is what the... Oh, that won't do. Let's make this 10.
Okay, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Wait,
I thought that's what you felt sorry for.
Okay, so This I felt bad about. I had to mark both of these as break. Because I did a motion in which the head hit before the hands did.
What do you mean? Oh, okay. I think
So
I get it.
so in a single timing chart, I went and did this. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to over top of it mark it as such.
Right, because this one 8 was the middle drawing of the hand, but not the head. That that makes sense. Like I'm not so mad about it. Once explained like that, like I would get it.
Yeah. But of course, like if someone's never seen a basic chart before, this is just that's a nightmare. Try and figure out. And then I tried to like emphasize I try to explain a little bit better by using 2 different colors.
Yeah, the color helps. Don't do that if there's no 2 colors. I would cry and be very sad.
Because then you just start sending like this to someone, and they're like, "All right, yeah, I can clean this up. This is fine."
It's a porcupine.
There he is. Oh, look at him go. He's balancing a pine cone on his head. He's gonna plant the forest.
He is. He's got a little bag full of pine cones.
Don't eat pine cones, kids.
Oh man, that's so cool. Yo, it's already been an hour. Oh my god. But I think we've done phenomenal work in that hour.
Absolutely.
Just gonna skim
So much
through
learning.
if there's a couple more knowledge bits we could fit into this. And I'm very sad to say that you will have to come back one day to finish this.
I may have to.
Okay, one question that is quite relevant to this.
Yes.
Do you have some thoughts on how to animate on 1s, 2s, 3, 4s, 5s, and 19th?
In 19s?
No, but like that is a common misconception that everything needs to be on 1s, and that is absolutely wrong, and I don't encourage it. So, but at the same time, people say, oh, in the Americas, people only animate on 2s, and in Japan, it's only on 3s. I'm like, no, stop thinking that it's only regular. I think, and you agree because I know you, like, it's not like we need more variance in our timing. So, like, can we talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely, yeah. Because that's stuff that I absolutely love. Like, just
Yes,
kind of
yes,
like
yes.
explaining the as soon as you get your head out of the whole like everything's on 2s and 1s are fast, right? You can start getting really, really creative with your motions. So like, while it doesn't work physically in the real world like that, to like, I guess like a trigger studio is a great example.
I was
of
gonna
that.
say I watched a lot of Trigger stuff frame by frame, and I count the frames and then I reproduce it because that's how much of a crazy person I am. But like
Yeah.
Trigger, their timing is just so great. They have things on 5 and it works. So like,
Oh yeah,
I
And
love
it's-
it so much.
It is amazing.
You're-
Absolutely.
You're
like,
reading
try
my
and, like,
mind. I was gonna say like kids watch Premiere frame by frame. You're gonna have a blast. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, there's like I think there's like a couple of instances in like FLCL where it's like that like impact frames are held for 6. Like that's nuts.
What?
Why? Yeah.
Where? Oh my
it's-
god, you have to show me that one day.
I'll have to see if I can find it. But yeah, they just have like something like this, just something real like crazy. And like on a black screen, just like
Oh yes.
they add like a little camera shake. I mean, Flying Bark does the same. So if you want another good example of like
Oh yeah, their timing is so great. When I worked on GlitchTechs and we took after them on GlitchTech because they only did 2 episodes and then we took after them and yeah, we would study the time because we had to replicate their ways, right? So we listened, we studied the timing so good. So yeah, GlitchTech's also a good way. And
yeah, GlitchTechs, Rise of TMNT,
Monkey
Lego Monkey Kid.
Thank you.
Which I can talk about finally because now it's available outside of just.
Did you work on it?
Did.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So yeah, timing. Sorry.
Hilariously, while you were talking about like in America, they only go on 2s. The current like thing I'm working on is almost exclusively on 2s, and it's like from the upper like a flying bark is being commissioned in by a different studio to kind of produce the series, and one of the rules they gave us is like things on 1s and 2s only, no 3s.
I know, and I think I know. No, just because you said that, I think I know what the series is, and we have to talk about that later. But
yeah, we'll have to do it in a at a more reasonable time for when the series starts coming out.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
But I do
so
very
dumb.
much miss
sometimes.
putting things on like 3s and 5s.
Like when I say no, it's not dumb. Like I think there's a reason why and stuff, but it's just I've seen a supervisor like look at an animation and say, oh, it looks great, and then look at it frame by frame, like, oh, but there's some things on 3s. I'm like, but you said it looked good. Like,
You said it was great. What's wrong?
I know, so that's where it kind of gets me sometimes. But like,
It's at that point is when you start trying to like you start like this. I wouldn't recommend any students looking to get a gig start doing this anytime soon, is like sneaking things kind of in 3s and 4s and stuff. Like although it like feels good and like you kind of like get back at the man, like I'll show you, I'll put it on 5.
I got away with a lot of stuff.
And I'm gonna put on 5 and add a camera shake, you'll never know.
Wow. Like you go from putting on the 1s and 2s to a 5 on shake. I think that's pushing your luck, but I mean, try it and let me know how it goes.
We are not responsible if you get fired.
Oh yeah, I'll put a big disclaimer. Don't cancel us if this doesn't work for you. So yeah, moral of the story: use 1, 2, 3, 4s, and 5 if you want, but just don't use too many 1s because they're a pain to clean up.
Yeah,
Okay,
like give your hand a rest too.
Yeah. On another pod, it was like you can put 1s, but consider them $1,000 each. Do you have $1,000 in your pocket? Be careful what ones you put in there. And then have
oh my god!
they tell people to be careful.
That's so good. I actually really like that.
Which is actually true, because I was talking about it on Lucky Daisy, and that's where we also had to stop people from using 1s. Not because it doesn't look good, but just because we don't have Walt Disney's budget to do that. And
Yeah.
oh, that's a great tonical drawing. Good job.
Thank you.
We told people it's not that we don't want them because it's a rule. It's just that consider how much it costs, and because it's gonna take maybe an hour to clean the drawing in color and shadow. So like, an hour per scene can lead to like 100 hours that we could have not put there. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, depending on the production, sometimes it's better to kind of cheat things. Use the warp tool.
Mm-hmm.
And that's coming from someone who like growing up on paper. It's hard for me to not draw everything.
Yeah, I feel you. Oh man. Okay, so thank you for this little timing talk.
Yeah.
And I have one thing here. Okay, yeah. One of the questions I asked to everyone this year as well, speaking of projects, because we've been talking about so many projects, were there some projects where you got turned down that you applied
Or I got
for?
turned down.
Ever, like, in your life? Did it
Oh
happen
yeah.
once?
No, absolutely. Just
Yeah,
like
because
for
after that you
years
get to a
and years.
certain point where you kind of get it less because you know what you do and people know what you do, so you just get gigs. But when you get started, oh my lord, I think people get turned down a lot, and we have to talk about that.
Oh yeah. Or like for years I was getting turned down from stuff. Like it took probably like, it may be hard to believe, but like it took close to like 6 years for me to like actually land like a non-slave wage animation gig. Like everything else that I was picking up at the time is like I pretty much had to do part-time work because I couldn't support myself for all that time. Like despite like quality of my work being, I was pretty good. Like I wasn't awful, but I didn't have any connections either. So almost everything I applied to, I didn't get.
Oh, thank you for sharing, because I see so many like young people out there being like, oh, I keep getting turned down jobs, and like they graduated like 3 weeks ago. I'm like, come on, like it's normal. Like stop applying for feature film. You're 12 years old. Like
Yeah.
Start with
Maybe-
smaller things. Maybe not
like
a
a
movie.
commercial. Maybe yeah.
Or a
Maybe
little TV. Yeah, but I don't want to do a TV series because it looks like crap. I'm like, well, first, no, it doesn't look like crap. And like try many things. Like, but I want to do Space Jam. No, you don't do Space Jams. You're 12 years old. Like, go eat nuggets
like
or something.
eat a chicken nugget, dude.
Eat your nuggies.
Yeah, no, it can be really upsetting. Like
It is.
especially if it is like a long time. Like yeah, it took me like I guess 4 months to get like first like music video gig. And I still love doing music videos. But it wasn't until they're so good. But yeah, it wasn't until last year that I did my first like TV animation series, and it wasn't until this year that I did first movie. And I've been doing this since like 2013.
Congrats.
Yeah, so sometimes you just let time take its course. Just keep working on yourself.
Hey, we almost graduated at the same year. I finished 2D school in 2014.
Damn. We're almost the same age.
Are we? I don't know.
Maybe.
Who knows? And were there some projects that you turned down instead of getting turned down? Like, you know, when you get offered stuff.
Yeah. That's
Not saying which one specifically, but like sometimes just having the reason why. Like sometimes I think it's important that you listen to yourself, and like if you see projects that are not realistic, you may turn them down.
Yeah. I mean, the cases for me turning stuff down recently has definitely been because I've already booked myself for things.
Mm-hmm.
And I can very sadly say that I was very, very close to hopping on Primal, like or like the studio that worked on Primal, gonna do something with them, and unfortunately like timing just didn't work. I had to turn it down. But Studio Cachette or La Cachette, I'm looking at you. One of these days we'll doodle together.
Yeah, so listen to your health, people. It's okay to turn down projects sometimes.
If you are getting well paid with something, or maybe it's not like the most fulfilling thing, but it suits your needs very well, it's okay to stick with it. There will be more projects in the future.
Oh, for sure. Since it's a Christmas time, do you have any suggestions of good learning materials like books or something accessible that people could just find online?
Something very accessible. Yes. Specifically for spacing charts or animation?
Yeah, for anything. You know,
Anything in
sometimes something like aside from Richard Williams' book, like that we all know. You
Yeah.
know, sometimes we find golden nuggets like that.
I have been. Hang on. Let me pull up the site. I think I have it like right here. My greatest kind of like learning tool, the thing that I've been using a ton this year specifically, is the website sketchfab.com.
Ooh, that's cool.
And it is a collection of various 3D models that people have made with their wireframes. And you can go into like a search bar, search 3D models, which I swear this is going to make sense for 2D type stuff. Type it in, whatever you're looking for, like a Converse shoe.
Oh yeah, I found it. Oh, I forgot that was the name of the website. Yeah, I've been there. Oh, thank you.
And there's you now have a resource to look up whatever you may possibly want to draw and rotate it in 3D space to use as reference.
Yeah, that's so cool. I'm showing
So,
it
like,
on my screen now. Yeah.
So if you like to say you have trouble drawing roller skates, you can just type in roller skate and you'll probably find, yeah, I just did it now. There's like 4 or 5 different models that now you can open up and scoot around in.
It's funny that you show this website because the last couple of questions I was gonna ask was about reference. Like, how do you find quality reference? You got it right there. Wow.
Wow, this whole thing is, we're just on the same wavelength, I guess.
Vibing.
Yeah.
I blame voice chat for that. So yeah, well, that is one great example, and that's another point I wanted to cover this year in Winterfest. I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, when you animate, like, you can just record your own reference," and I think it's a great thing to record your own reference, but that's the part I don't know if you agree or have any thoughts about it. But I think sometimes animators are great draftman people. You put them in front of a camera and they just become like a snail. They just shrink. They just like die. And I think it's important to know who you are as a person. And if you are a kind of person that might be shy in front of a camera, that's where I'm like, how do we find like a solution for that? Because I don't think everybody can record their own reference, especially when you fight with weapons, right?
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
I'm kind of one of those weird animators. I don't record myself all that often. I should. I feel like I should, just because it'll like.
Yeah, but I mean, me neither. Like, I'm not a good camera person at all. Like, I don't do that.
I like definitely will admit that there is a lot that you can gather that you can't like think or feel in your head. But like my strategy for motions in general is like, on pretty much all of my off time from work, I'm physically moving. Like I'm a big like fitness kind of sporty dude, and I pull a lot of like, you know how people have like a mental library of things that they'll learn to draw, or like they understand how like musculature works or something like that. My mental library is almost entirely movement based. Like I'll go out of my way to try different things, kind of like I like remember things that way. And like the more I personally move, the more I can like translate that to like the screen, the page, the animation. So for some, yeah, recording everything you do, super important, but it's not like an end all be all type thing.
Thank you. We really are on the same wavelength. So yes. Yes. That's great.
It does help, like if you are not one who is like very active and needs kind of like a physical reference, you can look up something slow motion on YouTube. There's definitely been a couple of times where a friend of mine who's a stunt man, Shirtless Wonder on Twitter, he posts a bunch of videos, and there's been a couple of times where I've asked for reference from him, like, hey, can you record like a flash kick for me so that I can like use it for reference. Like, I'm not saying don't use video for reference, I'm just saying, like, if you can't do the motion that you need to see, maybe recording yourself doing that motion won't help as much. Like, get someone or contact someone who you know can do the motion and do it pretty. It never hurts to ask. Try to collaborate with everyone. Find experts and take their advice.
Oh my god, finding experts I think is an important point, because like you're not a swordsman. You're not a samurai. You don't do martial arts. So don't try to pretend like you can hold a sword or it's not going to end well. Like sometimes the animation is going to look off big and they're like, yeah, but I followed the reference. And I'm like, yeah, but the reference was bad. I'm sorry. You don't know how to hold a sword.
I mean, on top of that too is like following a reference exactly versus like emphasizing it, right? Like reference is good. You don't want to just like rotoscope stuff. You want to like use the reference and be able to push it. Like if you find someone in a cool pose that's like doing a handstand or something, like while a drawing of a handstand and making it as realistic as possible will like convince the crowd like, oh yeah, that's good. You can also push it in a way to like that's the point of like drawn media or like any sort of digital kind of creative media, is that like we can do better than real life. And that's where like some of the power of like drawing well comes from.
That is very well said. And yeah, I think that's it. Oh my god, thank you. And the final word of this interview is, as artists, we tend to be sensitive people, and we get in a fair share of dark ideas and like rough passes. And then how do you handle those? Like you know, when you look at all your drawings and everything looks like shit. Like, do you have any advice for artists going through like lack of motivation? Like, when nothing works, so you just want to like throw your pencil at something.
Yeah, if you're sitting down and like your animation is not looking right, you get up and you walk away. Like it's as simple as that. Like if you're staring at a screen and you're going to keep like throwing yourself at the wall, like hoping that like things will work out, or like bash on it until it works out. Personally, as soon as I recognize that nothing's looking right, I'll get up, I'll go for a walk, like I said, I'll exercise, I'll do literally anything else. Like, just take your brain away from it. Don't even think about it for a while. Come back to it when you're fresher. After a nap, maybe you need that, maybe some food. I don't want to be hangry and working. And I'll come at it with like a kind of a fresh perspective.
Oh yeah, food helps. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And people watching this, don't take this as the ultimate advice. Like, everybody's different. I ask this question to everyone who comes on stream because I know that everybody's different. So if this speaks to you and you want to try it and it works, that's great. So yeah, I'm also the same. When it doesn't work, I just need to do something else, like walk my dog, go swim, or like do something.
We're busybodies.
We are. As active as I can be.
Yeah, right?
My broken body.
Oh, no.
But, yeah, thank you so much. It was a lovely time. And, it's always fun talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thanks for having me.
Do you have any last words?
Where's the last? Do. Last advice. If a drawing isn't looking right, get rid of it.
Oh yeah.
It's just everything you're doing. It's just drawings. You can make more. Nothing's precious.
Stop fixing it. Just like say thanks, kiss it goodbye, and just make another one.
Your hand is a printer and it never runs out of ink.
I think the only reason why you would fight to keep a drawing is when I was on paper and every sheet of paper was 25 cents and it was getting expensive, so you're like, to fix it.
You like look at it like, this is. Can I afford to toss this drawing? This is a gumball.
Yeah, exactly, right? I remember when I was in school, we went to the when it was the first year, like for first semester, we knew that the first year students were starting out, and they were like, "Oh, I don't like this drawing of my tiny like ball animation. I'm gonna throw away the page." We were just like scavenging the recycle bin just to find the old students' drawing, being like, "Oh, it's just a ball. I'll erase it and I'll be able to use it."
I'm so upset at how much I can relate
We were
to
fucking
this.
vultures. Circling the bin, waiting for a little pile of paper. They were like super clean. Like you can't reuse that.
Yeah, there's not even any fold creases in it.
Oh yes, and the pegs are all right. They're not like all destroyed and stuff from erasing too much. Wow, I'm glad you can relate to the vulture feeling.
Oh, we're so old.
We're not. That's the problem. We're not even that old. The industry is just changing fast.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and I hope you have a very cool end of the day.
Hell yeah. Thank you. You too.